fellow fiber splicers that are following along, hit that like and subscribe, because there ain't many of us that do this, and I ain't met many that can explain it very well, so I'm doing my best to explain this to you guys. This is the follow-up to the last video where I dissected the prints the best I could, the symbols and what everything meant, the units and all that stuff, and this is the video to that same print that we're going to be walking through the counts on what to splice and how to go about building that location. So we're going to be discussing S2, which is the end of line of this run on this print. It says it's a Fosk large, which is a large Tyco D or Corning D of 450 enclosure. It says it's got 4 MST pigtails they call dongles, 1 splitter, a PM92, which is snowshoe and dressing it out after we've got it built up on the strand, and the units for the testing once it's done. So if I'm pulling up in my truck to this S2 location, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna verify that pole number matches the pole number on the print. Then I'm gonna look up in the air and see if I see that 50-foot coil of cable hanging on the strand. And if it is, I'm gonna drop it down. Once I get that cable all opened up, I'm gonna open up those dongles, those MST 10-foot long pigtails, like a flat drop, 12 fiber flat drop with a connectorized end on the back of it the MST boxes themselves can plug into. Once I've got my splice case pre-built, my cables opened up, my tubes ran out, get all 4 dongle MST tail tubes in the tray and get your CO side in the tray. We need to know which tube we're using to feed this enclosure. So the count on this print only shows the existing fiber count. There was a splice before the splice we're at. The tie-in location comes off of a cable that has this count. So since S2 says the input of this splitter is gonna be on that 002 number 20, we're gonna be coming out of the orange buffer tube. You guys see the parentheses around that count there. That's signifying that those are the ones that we're looking for on this particular run on the black fiber. So get our orange buffer tube laid out with our pigtail buffer tubes, and remember to always start on the blue fiber on those MST pigtail. Now we're going to grab our splitter. We're going to install the splitter in the tray with the single fiber coming out on the side with the dongles, the field side, because it's going to be splicing to our CO side, that orange buffer tube black fiber. Now the output fibers of that splitter are going to run out the same direction on the tray as the CO fibers do, because now they're feeding those MST pigtails. So we splice the single fiber from the splitter to the black fiber of the orange buffer tube. Now I don't see anywhere on the print that shows the counts for the dongles or the MST pigtails. So if I look at that splice location, I can count the red lines, which are the MSTs that are coming off of that splice case, and see that 1 goes north, 1 goes east, 1 goes south, and 3 go west. So that's all 6 of the fibers on the units spot where it says 1 through 6. So we know 3 of those dongles gets 1 fiber spliced into them, and 1 of those dongles gets 3 splices. So now we've spliced 7 fibers. The black fiber from the orange buffer tube to the input of the splitter. We spliced blue to a dongle, orange to a dongle, green to a dongle, and then brown slate white from those splitter fibers to blue, orange, green of that MST pigtail dongle fibers. Always start on blue. Make sure you label the MST pigtails or dongles correctly. Get your ground, your bond off the back of the can, your snowshoe, and go back up there and hang that bad boy. That's a rather simple explanation, but hopefully it gives you kind of an idea of what we're trying to do out there. Till next time.